Connecting with Pets, a Forever Vets podcast.
Welcome back to podcast episode number 8 of the Connecting with Pets Forever Vets podcast. Today our topic is holiday pet safety. My name is Shelly, and today we have Sam Davis, who is from our Racetrack Road location. So welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. So before we jump right in, can you kind of give us a little background knowledge about yourself and then what your role is at Racetrack?
Okay, so at Racetrack, I am a receptionist. Sometimes I get to put on my tech hat as well if we do need a little help in the back. But for the most part, I am a receptionist. I'm pretty much the face that everyone sees when they come in, and I'm the voice that most people hear on the phone. So I pretty much am a part of every pet household, pretty much.
That's awesome.
Just a little background about me. I personally have an 8-year-old German Shepherd, and I do own 2 guinea pigs, one named Lance Donovan and one named Lucky Dice.
So cute.
So yes, I get to work with pets at work, and I get to have my own fun at home with my own pets.
Excellent. That's awesome to hear. So like I said, we're talking about holiday pet safety, and let's go ahead and jump right in. So one of the questions that I wanted to start off to kind of get this conversation rolling, or what are some top things that you can do as a pet parent to protect yourself during the holiday season?
A few things that you can do is to make sure when you have like holiday guests to create your pet like a safe haven. Like, give your pet a space that they can go to when they need to calm down if they're overwhelmed by having so many people in the house, or make sure that people also respect your pet's space because your pet is used to a certain routine and way of life, and then you have guests over and everyone wants to play with your pet thinking that, okay, cool, we can play with them, but sometimes your pet gets anxious too. And it may look as though your pet is excited, but sometimes our pets have to save face as well.
Yeah, and for coming in and like being, a relative in a new environment or having, pets that you want to protect them during that time, what are some things that you can do?
You can also make sure that your pet pretty much stays on the same routine. Try not to, in a sense, neglect your pet. If you know you take your pet out around every 3 hours to do potty breaks, try to stay as close to that routine as you can to let your pet know that he or she hasn't been forgotten about. And make sure that you stay calm around your pet, because if your pet sees you getting anxious, then they're going to mirror that behavior as well.
Okay. And I know you said if you have like guests that are staying over and they're staying in the guest room, the pet isn't used to having, more people in the house. I have a really anxious Australian Shepherd, and I know we hosted Christmas for the first time last year, and as soon as everyone walked in, she immediately peed all over the floor with just pure excitement. So we took her out right before then, but we weren't expecting everybody to show up at once. So what are some things that you can do, I guess, if you are hosting, other than, keeping them on the same routine, allowing, the people that are coming into your house to let them know, like, hey, this is the routine that I have of the pet. But for those anxious babies out there, is there anything additional that they can do?
Actually, yes. You can consult your veterinarian, and you can also try pet calming aids if that is something that you believe would help your pet as well.
Yeah. So
you have over-the-counter medications, and you also have prescription medications that could help calm your pet too.
Okay, excellent. So continuing to talk about the holidays, we know that there's a lot of toxic foods, toxic plants, or even decorations that might be hazardous to pets. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the most popular ones, or the most that we see, in the vet industry that happen.
One of our very common ones is dogs getting into chocolates and bones.
Yep.
And foods that they shouldn't get into. And granted, it smells good to them. It tastes good to them. And we want to share our food with our pets because we love them. But sometimes we just have to understand that their digestive system and our digestive systems are very different.
Yes, they are.
So things that smell good and taste good are not necessarily healthy for them as well.
And off the top of your head, do you think about Christmas dinners or things like that? What are some toxic foods that you should just not give your pet?
Our main one will be bones. bones. The shards can get stuck in their throats, or it can cause stomach issues and things of that nature. Also, desserts, chocolates, very toxic to dogs. And around the holidays, we do cook with a lot of onions and garlic in our foods, which is very toxic to dogs as well.
Okay, so seasonings and
Yes.
plants and all that stuff. There's some things that just are not safe for pets. I personally have cats, and I know we get a lot of beautiful flower arrangements that come in and during the holidays, or poinsettias. Like, those are toxic. And
Yes.
I know, like, Christmas cacti and
also lilies.
Lilies,
Lilies can
too.
cause kidney damage in cats.
yes.
Another common plant in Florida would be sago palms. We see them grow wild, and we also see people that cultivate them. Those are very toxic to plants, and a lot of people do have oleanders, which can cause itching and burning to all pets, not just cats or
wow.
not just dogs. Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot.
Yes.
There are a lot. And I know that with foods and plants, and when you even enter the house, there's going to be decorations that could be hazardous. Let's name a few of those.
Yes. A lot of families like to decorate with tinsels or the artificial snow. And of course, we have our Christmas ornaments. And a lot of people like to use real trees instead of artificial trees. And you can still use real trees around pets, but you should more so use trees that have blunt pines instead of sharp. And a good one for that would be the Nordman fir tree,
Wow,
which has
I didn't
blunt.
know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm allergic to Christmas trees, so I've never had a real one
So
in the
yes.
house. So the pets have only in my household have been around the fake ones, but that's really unique to know, because I didn't realize that some real trees might be toxic to pets too.
Yes, and also with ornaments, if your dogs are tall enough to reach the ornaments, try to use either wooden ones or plastic ones. So like if they do fall, they don't shatter like the glass ones would. And if your dog is smaller, then try to put your ornaments higher up on the tree and just leave the bottom tree limbs bare. And if you have cats, try
are the
to
problems.
yeah.
Should go to my parents' house. They
Try
climb
to-
that
yeah.
sucker.
You can try to spray your tree with a citrus spray, because cats do hate citrus. So most of the time that'll keep them at bay as well.
Okay, that's pretty unique. I mean, Christmas, pine smells and citrus smells. So there you go.
And also a very important one is to hide electrical cords, because
Yes.
some dogs get bored and they become chewers. Like the German Shepherd breed, if it does not burn out all of its energy, it will start chewing on things.
You have some
to
past
burn-
experiences
yes.
in your home, I can tell.
Yes, they start chewing on things, and to them, an electrical cord looks just as good as a pair of shoes. So
man.
try to hide all electric cords.
Okay, so there we go. So food, plants, decorations. You heard it here. It's kind of like baby proofing your house in a way.
Yes.
But we're pet proofing, so we can keep all of them safe during the holiday season. I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation that I did have an Australian Shepherd. She is very anxious, and I'm sure there's a lot of other pet parents out there with anxious pets. And I know we talked about that there's certain things that we can do to kind of keep them on the same routine and kind of lessen that anxiety. But do you have any examples that you can share with the listeners about what they should do if they do plan to have a lot of people in their home?
Yes, I'll use myself for an example. At my house, I have multiple bedrooms, so my dog has his own room. When things tend to get a little hectic and he needs to just sit down for a while, I will allow my family members, like one at a time, to go into his room to show him that it's okay and that they love him as well, and that granted it's a lot of us, but we don't want him to be like overwhelmed, and like we want him to welcome us into his space, and we want to welcome him into our space as well.
That's a really good way to look at it. So you're slowly going to greet, so they know it's okay to have all these people in the house. This is his space, so
and he doesn't have to try to get to know everybody like all together. Like he can get to know them
that's
one
very
at a time.
overwhelming.
If he wants to sit by one person now and then in another hour sit next to someone else, like that's okay.
Good. So giving a pet their own space, checking on them, keeping that same routine that they have, and then when it actually comes to like the actual holiday, with the wrapping paper and the noise and things like that. It's really good
to expect a little
to remove them from that.
And also, I don't want to exclude people that are traveling for the holidays.
Yeah.
As far as anxious pets go, but if you are taking your pet somewhere for the holidays, try to choose a pet-friendly destination as well, because sometimes people just, and it's not bad that you send your dog to boarding and all of these things for the holidays, because sometimes you want human fun too. But if you are taking your pet somewhere, try to go somewhere that is pet friendly so your pet is comfortable as well, because it is a lot to sit in the car for hours on end and then only get out to like walk around and use the restroom. And then now here I am at a boarding facility. So just try to pick pet friendly destinations too.
Yeah, make some pit stops along the way and let them stretch their legs and make it a trip for both of them. So, no, that's really good. Along keeping up with these questions, if there is an emergency on a holiday, I know that here at Forever Vet Central, we are open to accept those emergencies, but do you have any advice for pet parents that might be dealing with an emergency situation when it is the holidays?
Yes, my first tip would be to remain calm, because if you freak out, your pet is going to freak out as well. So try to do your best to remain calm, and also see if you can pretty much just Google or research local 24-hour animal hospitals around you. That way, should something arise, you already know where you can take your pet or where you should take your pet or what number you should call.
And especially if you're traveling too and you're not familiar with that area, you should definitely do that.
Just pre-research that.
For sure. So to conclude this conversation and kind of just give a general, repeat of what we've been saying throughout this podcast for holiday pet safety, what are some key takeaways that pet parents can provide from this?
I would want our main takeaway to be to show respect and grace for our pets as well, because it is overwhelming to have a house full of guests and try to be on your best behavior and try to keep your pet parents safe. I would just say to show our pets some grace. Like, they may act a little different than what you're used to, but it's a lot. It's a lot on them too for you to entertain house guests. So I would just say show them grace and mercy, and just let your pet know, like, even throughout the day while you have guests over, just bend down, pet them on the head, just give them a hug or anything, and let them know you love them, and just reassure your pet, like, you're doing a good job.
Doing a good job. Yeah. You're in an environment with a lot of people. It's changed. They don't understand. It's the holidays sometimes. So just remember to keep your house safe, prepare ahead of time, whether if you're traveling or just if an emergency strikes overall. And just know that we have a lot of great blog information, information on our website. You can reach out to any Forever Vets location, and we can get these questions like these answered. Yes. But thank you so much, Sam. It has been a pleasure talking about holiday pet safety.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. And we look forward to having everyone back on our 9th podcast episode coming very soon.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. We are Forever Vets, locally owned and operated in Jacksonville, Florida. Visit us at forevervets.com to find out more about our community events, monthly promotions, and more specifics on animal care. Don't forget to catch our episode next week.